Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati's headline-making move to sign six-time world champion Marc Márquez for 2025 raised eyebrows, costing them Jorge Martin, Enea Bastianini, and their Pramac satellite team. Yet Carlo Pernat, once a vocal critic, now admits Gigi Dall'Igna's bold gamble was vindicated. He went to get the rider who can make the difference. When the Desmosedici project plateaued, Pecco Bagnaia has joined a growing chorus of riders calling for safety upgrades at MotoGP's most beloved venues. While insisting that circuits like Jerez, Mugello, and Assen remain indispensable to the championship's identity, the two-time world champion warns that historic status cannot excuse outdated runoff areas or low-grip tarmac. Aprilia's steady climb in MotoGP has paid off, but not without trade-offs. By remaining in concession Group C after the Czech Grand Prix, Aprilia avoided the stigma of demotion into Group D alongside Yamaha and Honda. However, it came at a cost. They now miss out on the very benefits that Group D teams enjoy, including extra testing and development freedom. Still, the Noali-based team says it has no regrets. While whispers of a dramatic Tech 3 Honda alliance have been circulating the MotoGP paddock, Hervé Ponchot remains steadfast in his vision. The longtime team boss has reaffirmed Tech 3's loyalty to KTM and their intention to extend the successful partnership into the next MotoGP era, one that begins with the radical 850 cubic centimeters regulation change in 2027. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Facing a GP25 that had reached its peak, Dall'Igna took the unprecedented step of recruiting Marquez from Gresini, pairing him with Francesco Bagnaia. The decision flew in the face of Ducati's tradition of nurturing young talent, but it was driven by a belief that the chassis limitations required an extraordinary rider to unlock further gains. Carlo Pernat, who originally lambasted Ducati for abandoning its youth policy, now praises the move. Gigi knew beyond the GP24 it would be impossible to improve, and very easy to regress. So he chose a rider capable of taking 2 steps forward on his own. Pernat's reversal underscores how results speak louder than principles in a championship defined by razor-thin margins. The numbers tell the story. Of 24 races to date, Marc Márquez has claimed 19 victories, 11 sprints and 8 main events, amassing 381 points and a 120-point cushion over nearest rival Alex Marquez. The Spaniard's seamless adaptation to Ducati's GP25 has redefined its potential, turning the previously imperfect bike into a race-winning weapon. The GP25 was notorious for its narrow setup window and front-end unpredictability. Dall'Igna recognized that incremental updates might stall the project altogether. By recruiting Marquez, renowned for his ability to ride around bike shortcomings, Ducati effectively outsourced their development leap to the rider most capable of extracting extra performance. Francesco Bagnaia, whose 2 titles once made him Ducati's standard-bearer, has struggled to match Marquez's pace. With just 1 win at Coda and a single pole at Brno, Pecco sits third in the standings, 168 points adrift of his new teammate. His ongoing battle to find front-end feel on the GP25 highlights the stark contrast between the 2 Ducati stars this season. As the paddock breaks for summer, Ducati face new questions. Can Bagnaia close the gap? Will Alex Marquez continue to play supporting cast on the older GP24? And can the GP25's evolution keep pace with Marquez's heroic riding? Dall'Igna's strategy has paid off so far, but the second half will prove whether the Ducati-Marquez alliance can sustain its nearly vanishing error margin. What once looked like a shocking departure from tradition has become Ducati's masterstroke. By recognizing the GP25 ceiling and securing the sport's most dynamic performer, Gigi Dall'Igna has rewritten the team's fortunes. Now, as Marquez prepares to defend a towering lead, Ducati's gamble stands as a case study in daring leadership. and the enduring power of an elite rider to redefine a machine's destiny. The 2026 calendar, unveiled this month, preserves MotoGP classics, Jerez, Mugello, Assen, Phillip Island, alongside new venues like Brazil's return. Bagnaia believes these tracks are the sport's bedrock. I think it's mandatory to have these classic tracks. They're where MotoGP's history comes alive. From the roar of the crowd at Mugello's grandstands to Assen's legendary cathedral atmosphere, these circuits shaped the championship's soul. Yet Bagnaia warns that Jerez's high-speed corners can turn treacherous when safety measures fall short. Corners 4 and 7, in particular, leave little margin for error. At Jerez, if you crash at corner 4 or 7, you hit the air fence very fast. We saw Alex Rins and Morbidelli nearly launching into it. He urges circuit owners to widen runoffs and soften barriers, ensuring that passion doesn't come at the cost of rider welfare. Mugello's long straights and fast chicanes demand impeccable tarmac, yet Bagnaia notes, surface degradation has left grip levels dangerously low. Barcelona's Montmello circuit shares similar woes. Mugello and Barcelona suffer from low grip. Riders can't lean as deep without risking slides into the gravel. He calls for resealing and resurfacing to restore confidence and prevent crashes that could be avoided with modern asphalt technology. Bagnaia praised Brno's triumphant return, a testament that even 5-year absences can end with top-tier safety standards. Brno came back with new asphalt and great runoff zones. It shows what's possible when organizers invest. His endorsement suggests other venues can follow suit, balancing heritage with 21st-century protective measures. Bagnaia's comments echo Marc Márquez's recent calls for upgrades at the Saxenry, on the calendar since 1998, where a series of rear-end lows and rider complaints prompted safety reviews. It's not just one track. When front or rear grip fails, crashes become far more dangerous. The Joint Rider Initiative now has Dorna and FIM's attention, key in prioritizing circuit improvements and upcoming safety directives. Under new owners Liberty Media, MotoGP faces both growth opportunities and the risk of sidelining classics in pursuit of new markets. A pattern seen in Formula One with Imola's 2026 drop and the loss of German and French GPs. Expanding is vital, but it can't come at the expense of the tracks that define us. He urges balance, embrace fresh venues while guaranteeing that time-honored circuits evolve safely, preserving MotoGP's character for generations to come. Pecco Bagnaia's plea is straightforward: keep the heritage alive, but never at the cost of safety. As MotoGP charts its global future, his voice, backed by a championship pedigree, underscores a core truth: the tracks that made the sport must also protect its stars. Only then can MotoGP honor its past while racing into the future with confidence. The Brno weekend served as a critical checkpoint in MotoGP's updated concession system. Manufacturers are reclassified based on their results, and Aprilia's task was simple: earn at least 10 points across the sprint and main race to avoid slipping into Group D. With Marco Bezzecchi finishing on the podium and Jorge Martin scoring a strong P7 in his return from injury, Aprilia did more than enough to maintain Group C status, which it shares with KTM. Team boss Paulo Bonora made it clear that they wanted to avoid falling into Group D. I am so sure about it. We will remain in C. We worked for years to beat the others. We want to be at the top. Here's the irony: falling into Group D would have unlocked valuable perks. Teams in that bracket receive extended engine development and are permitted to test with race riders during the season, something that could have aided Jorge Martin as he regains rhythm after a long injury layoff. But Aprilia insists that their ambition to compete at the highest level outweighs any short-term advantages. Group D allows more engines, more fairings, more testing, but we're aiming higher. We know there's still a gap to recover, and we're doing it session by session, Bonora admitted. Aprilia's recent form speaks for itself. Bezzecchi's win at Silverstone and podiums at Assen and Brno have made him the clear standout among non-Ducati riders. Meanwhile, Martin's encouraging return in Brno, his first full Grand Prix of the season, suggests even better days are ahead. And behind the scenes, Lorenzo Salvadori deserves credit. Aprilia's loyal test rider filled in for Martin across 7 rounds, sacrificing results to push development. The bike Martin returned to is vastly improved compared to what he left in Qatar. "We work with realistic goals, most of the job, I'm totally sure, is done by the riders and their feeling. They give 100%, Bonora explained. Despite Aprilia's success, Bonora is not about to start making bold predictions. With Ducati still dominating, and KTM looking threatening, Aprilia prefers to keep its feet firmly planted on the ground. "We like to work with our feet on the ground. We don't want to put too much expectation on the riders. We just want to keep this momentum and mood in the garage." That philosophy might be Aprilia's hidden weapon. While others flinch under pressure, they are quietly building consistency and belief. Aprilia may have lost out on extra testing rights, but in many ways, that's a sign of how far they've come. Rather than relying on regulatory crutches, they're competing with the best on merit. With Bezzecchi flourishing, Martin getting stronger, and their bike consistently threatening Ducati's grip, Aprilia's Group C status might just be a stepping stone, not a ceiling. Since parting ways with Yamaha in 2018, Tech 3 has enjoyed a second life with KTM. What started in 2019 as a satellite project quickly became a race-winning operation, highlighted by Miguel Oliveira's 2 victories in the COVID-hit 2020 season. "We've done a great 7 years together, and I've never been thinking about doing anything different in the near future," Ponchero said, reflecting on the KTM alliance. This statement comes amid growing speculation of Tech 3 joining forces with Honda from 2027, a rumor that's gained traction with the upcoming engine formula shift. But Ponchero was quick to pour cold water on the chatter. At the German Grand Prix, Ponchero was adamant about the team's future direction. For him, Tech 3's identity is now tied to KTM. "We are working on staying with our Austrian manufacturer, who are our friends. Hopefully we will be there with KTM on our bike," he affirmed. Despite KTM's turbulent 2025, financial instability, management shifts, and questions over factory direction, the recent public backing by new majority shareholders, Bajaj, has steadied the ship. KTM Motorsport boss Pit Beirer has also confirmed that planning for the post-2026 era is already underway. Adding intrigue to Tech 3's future is the revelation that former F1 team boss Günther Steiner has shown interest in becoming an investor. Ponchero confirmed the talks in June, though no formal agreement has been announced. Steiner's potential involvement could bring fresh business acumen and international visibility to the French-based outfit, which currently sits 7th in the MotoGP team's standings after 12 rounds. Tech 3 has had flashes of form this season, though consistency has eluded them. Enea Bastianini delivered a crucial sprint podium in Brno, while Maverick Vinales' second place in Qatar was nullified by a tire pressure penalty. It's been a season of scattered highlights, but the foundation remains strong, and Ponchero believes there's more to come. "The future of Tech 3 is bright, as usual," he said with optimism. Whether it's KTM Orange or the specter of Honda Red looming on the horizon, Tech 3's ambitions for the 2027 MotoGP reboot are clear. They intend to be at the sharp end. And unless a major shift occurs, they plan to do it with the Austrian brand that helped them return to the top step of the podium. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!